In this series I've been exploring cultural cuisine firsthand, in countries that influence what we eat in our own fair land. After the salmon runs of Alaska, my next trip is taking me to the heart of the Middle East, Israel, home to dishes that are having a second coming in Britain. Thanks very much, Jay. You know, Middle Eastern food's become very popular over the past couple of years, and I reckon it won't be long before ordering a plate of mezze on Saturday night rather than a curry. In fact, it's projected that in 20 years meals like this will top the list of the UK's favourite cheap eats. Very Moorish. Israel's capital, Tel Aviv, is a mixture of ancient and modern, and in the shadows of the city's business district, the colourful markets sell a plethora of fresh produce and classic Middle Eastern street food. In England, we might have a sandwich for lunch, or we might have a packet of crisps or whatever, or perhaps a bag of chips. Here, they're falafel, and look at this. It's chickpeas ground with a bit of oil, some spices and a bit of herb, and it smells delicious. Wow. Israel's a real mishmash of food cultures. For instance, they've got shawarma from Morocco, they've got schnitzel all the way from Austria, and over there they've got a chicken kebab, that great old British favourite. Here in Israel, hummus is a real favourite, and like the falafel, the key ingredient is the humble chickpea. But according to Jana Gur, author of the book of New Israeli Food, the secret to the perfect hummus lies elsewhere. What is this?
This is tahini. Sesame paste.
Wow.
And your hummus is just as good as your tahini, so you should try it, because that's the way, yes, just like that, that's the way to know if your tahini is good. You taste it raw. Well,
wow, that is strong.
I think we're ready for some good hummus now.
I think we are.
Okay, no, just the place, not far from here.
So this is number one place for hummus?
Definitely in Tel Aviv. That's number one. That's my favorite and everybody's favorite.
It's a restaurant?
I wouldn't call it a restaurant. It's a hummus place. All you have here is hummus. That's it. That's all you're getting, but it's the best.
Right, so what do we have here then?
We have three variations on hummus. That's the plain hummus with tahini and whole chickpeas.
Shall I try that?
Sure.
Wow, that's really creamy. I can feel the calories. So this one?
This one is hummus with broad beans.
Wow. Big flavours.
Yeah, and here is my favorite, and not just mine. People come here specifically for that. This is called misabacha.
And this is the 5-star version.
For me it is.
They're almost so meaty. And how important is this in Israeli culture today?
Even though it's an Arabic dish and you can have it all over the Middle East, I think Israel is the place where hummus has the highest status. It's like cult food. Everybody's crazy about it.
I can see why it's becoming so popular in the UK, but I have to say, we've got a long way to go to catch up with this, and this is amazing.
Good thing I brought you here. Cheers!
Cheers! Hummus and falafels aren't the only gastronomic link between Israel and the UK though. Overlooking modern Tel Aviv, standing testament to the trade between Middle East and Victorian Britain, the old town of Jaffa also has a story to tell. In the UK we know this as the Jaffa orange, and this is the port where it got its name. In the 19th century, almost 40 million a year came out of this place, but the British connection with this area goes back a lot further than that. Just an hour away from Tel Aviv, Jerusalem is one of the truly iconic cities in Israel. Jerusalem, here we are. Right next to the Western Wall here, they've got the Crusader Tower. What a lot of people tend to forget is when they came back from the Crusades to the UK, they brought back wonderful dried fruits and spices. And some 700 years later, they're all back in fashion. And I needed those same ingredients to make my falafels. My next stop was the most famous market in Jerusalem. This is Mahane Yehuda market. It's absolutely packed with people. A big beat. Originally these would have come from Iran, Iraq, Turkey, Lebanon, and when the Crusaders came back to the UK they would have brought all this stuff. I mean, look at this stuff here. Look at the nuts. I've never seen pomegranates like this in my life. This little baby here is meant to be the best from Israel, and it makes fantastic olive oil. Well, I've got my yogurt. Now, it's not a traditional dip with falafel, but it's my twist on a great Israeli dish. Nearby in the Judean hills, there's a restaurant that serves up progressive Middle Eastern food, using local ingredients like those found in the markets. As Tom, the head chef, explained. But tell me about Israeli food. Is there a classic Israeli food?
Israel is a country that's only been existing for 60 years. But when you look at the different populations living in it, the Palestinians have been there for hundreds of years. And they've been able to create a cuisine coming out of the local ingredients here. Besides that, you have all the Jewish people that have been coming from different countries for the last 60 or 80 years. You know, some from Iraq, some from Syria, some from Morocco, some from Western Europe, United States, yes, even some from Asia, bringing their own family traditions and foods.
So Israel is a real melting pot of culinary influences. And like me, Tom creates flavour combinations using local ingredients. And his braised veal cheek with lamb and green tahini sauce is a great example of modern Middle Eastern cuisine, and looks fantastic. Splendid, absolutely delicious. From the classic sort of food that I've seen already to this almost fusion way of cooking, it's become apparent that Israeli food is definitely moving on. It's very, very exciting. After that sumptuous meal, it was time to make my way to arguably the most famous body of water in Israel. And that's where I'm heading, the Dead Sea. Steeped in history, this is the lowest point on earth. A great place for mind, body and soul, and to cook up a few falafels. What a fantastic setting, just look at this, right by the Dead Sea. Right, what you need to do first of all is to soak your chickpeas. Now what I've done here is soak these chickpeas overnight in some water and some baking soda. Now that softens the skins, but it also means that they'll cook quicker eventually. Then it's a simple matter of grinding them into a paste, adding in a pinch of cumin and paprika, a little salt and a little pepper. I'm going to add a few sesame seeds. You can use tahini paste if you want, but it makes the mixture very, very wet. So I'm using a few seeds here, and that will also give it a nice texture. And then finally, a little bit of baking soda again, and this will lighten the whole mixture. And chopped coriander and parsley finish off the flavour mix. You will see that it will actually come into a nice paste like that. Look at that. Use a scoop to keep the portions regular and deep fry for 2 minutes. And there they are. Look at those babies. And that is the first falafel I've ever made. To accompany the falafels, I'm going to curry the yogurt I picked up at the market by mixing paprika, a sprinkling of cumin and chopped coriander. To finish off my curry yogurt, put a few sesame seeds, and finally a little squeeze of lemon juice. Job done. Well, this may be the lowest point on earth, but it's certainly been a high for me. What a great place to be enjoying my last supper in Israel.